giving me such opportunity to present my views in front of all of us. So everybody knows, or we know that the stability requirement and what is the criticality of this topic. So I just want to brief that we have conducted so many webinars and so many videos and PPTs we have published on our YouTube channel for awareness and knowledge to the pharmaceutical industry users. So now this is the fifth one webinar which we are going to present in front of all of us. So stability study. So you all are aware about the requirement of stability study and criticality of this subject. You all know, well known, because there are several companies which have taken 483s, and there are several companies also in the world they are existed no more. The best example, or you can say the well-known example of this example is Ranbaxy. So we will not talk upon more on this. We will just present our views so that users can understand the requirements and the practical approaches. So today, now I am not presenting the full session, as we have already announced that today we have three speakers. So I will speak only the basic requirements, the guidance requirements, and the practical implementation and the practical the approaches for stability study. So now I will present our presentation so that you can easily understand the requirements and other things. So now I'm going to share my screen. Based on the stability study requirements. So before going to the slide presentation, I just want to brief introduction about myself. Myself, Ramat Singh Rathore. I am B.Pharm graduate guy, having 1.5 decade quality assurance experience in pharmaceutical industries, and having exposure of all the dosage forms which are readily available in the pharmaceutical industries. While I have already mentioned in the presentation part, you can see from this presentation. So about my career, I have started my career from Alchem Laboratories Limited. I was worked with Alembic, Shreya, Akunsh, BBMed, Rusan Pharma, and currently I am working with Unimedical Labs, Dehradun, as a General Manager Quality Assurance. I have faced so many audits. The key audits, or you can the main audits, Anvisa, NCC, South Africa, US, NSF, WHO, CDSCO, and several the raw ROW market audits I have faced. So, in the today's session, what we will learn about stability study. So, the users have, these are the questions which everybody have in the mind. So, as related to the stability study, this is the topic. So everybody wants what is stability study, why we are performing, when we have to perform this stability study, who will be performed, how we to perform the stability study, and where is to be performed the stability study. So this is about just brief about the requirement of stability study, and then starting from the stability study, now I just brief about what is stability study. So, as I have already mentioned in this slide, that a documentary program of schedule, analysis, and compilation procedure that provide an assurance of a product quality for a time period. It means it clearly indicates that we are exposing our product for a time being and a specified condition to find out the period of stability study. So this is about the stability study. So as I have already told in the beginning of this session the importance of the stability study. So now I have just taken this as a brief note on stability. Stability is an essential factor of quality, safety, and efficacy of the drug product. And if insufficient stability of drug can result, it change in physical dissolution rate, physical separation, as well as in chemical characteristics formulation of high decomposition substances, microbiological instability of a sterile drug product could also be hazardous. So this is the importance of the stability study and the objective. And the objective of stability study to provide evidence on how the quality of a drug substance or drug product varies with time under the influence of a variety of environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, and light, and to establish a retest period of the drug substances or a shelf life of the product and recommended storage condition. In simple way, a word we can say the objective of stability study is to determine the shelf life, namely the time period of storage at a specified condition within which the drug product still meets its established specification. So this is the objective of the stability study. Now, what is shelf life? So the period of time during which an active pharmaceutical ingredient or finished pharmaceutical product is stored under the condition in which stability was established is expected to comply with the specification as determined by stability study on a number of batches of API or finished product. So the shelf life is used to establish the expiry date of each product. So it's a requirement and it's a definition of shelf life. And just brief about the regulatory guidelines, which I have already told that I will explain the requirements of guidelines and the guidelines which are available in the industry. So everybody knows the basic guidelines for all the stability study conditions or the requirements is ICH Q1A RT, R2, which all the countries are following. But along with this ICH Q1A R2, there are several guidelines in ICH which talks about the other requirement of stability study, which includes the decision, the evaluation part, and the photo stabilities and other analytical requirements of the stability study also. So now we will speak on the requirements and the various guidelines which are available in the industry. So I have already told that the ICH. So there are several newcomers which don't know about the ICH. I am just briefing that the ICH stands for International Conference on Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Registration of Pharmaceuticals for Human Use. It's ICH. So ICH defined as a stability testing of new drug substance and products with name of Q1AR2. It's a step 4 version dated on 6 February 2003. So the next guidelines, the Indian law. So the Drug and Cosmetic Action Rules, which we are following in the India, is Drug and Cosmetic Action Rules. So the DNC also defined the stability testing of new products in Appendix 9. So there are several requirements which the CDSCO defined in this law. So the next guideline is WHO TRS 1010 and Annex 10, which is the latest version of the guidelines, which is published in 2010. Will describe all the requirements of stability study. The guidelines is based on ICH Q1AR2 and other available guidelines of ICH and other countries. So these guidelines are very good guidelines and provided all the information required for implementation of the stability study for the users, the manufacturers, and the regulators also. So next guideline is the PICS. The PICS also have the requirements of the stability study. So PICS countries also following the ICH Q1AR2 guidelines. But in the Chapter 6 Quality Control, they have defined the requirements of the ongoing stability studies and the other requirements of stability studies in this guide. So as like PICS, the Uteralex Volume 4, they are also having the separate guidelines based on the ICH Q1AR2. So in Chapter 6, as like PICS, they have also defined the requirement of ongoing stability study, and IMA or EMA guidance also published ICH topics on Q1A. The latest one is 2018. So they have given all the requirements of the stability study. So you can refer this guideline for the implementation, the effective implementation, uh, effective implementation of the guide or of the stability requirement. So the next guideline is Health Canada. Health Canada also published a guidance document in July 1, 2020, and it's the latest guidelines. And they have given the requirement of stability study. So I have already told that all the guidelines based on the requirements of the Health Canada. Health Canada, or you can say Health Canada is following the Q1AR2 guideline, the basic guideline, which you will know. So the next guideline is the TGA. The TGA also following the Q1AR2, and they are also following the PICS guidelines documents for the stability study and other guidelines also. They are following. So this is about the TGA. And Anvisa Brazil. So Anvisa Brazil having a separate resolution RDC number 45. It's published on 9th August 2012. And they have given his own document, and they have defined the requirement of stability studies and registration requirement, the year requirement, and they have given the variations, the 5 variations requirement also in this guidance document. So then now we will talk upon the USFDA. USFDA also having the guidelines document for stability study. So the guidance document published by USFDA is based on the Q1AR2 stability study of new drug substance and product. So this is the same guideline. Q1AR2 is followed by the USFDA as such. So as I have already told that I will speak only the requirements, the guidance requirements, and the practical approaches which we have to follow during the stability study. So now I have drafted some key points in the slide presentation, which users want the answer. So we have defined several questions, and I will give the answer along with the reference guidelines, the practical approaches, and to be followed at the time of implementation of these requirements. So now my first question, or user's first question, is what should be the storage conditions of withdrawal samples waiting for testing? So there are several participants which are asking about sir, what is the storage condition of the sample withdrawal for testing, and they are waiting, the samples are waiting for the testing. So what should be the condition at which temperature we have to store? So in this regard, if you go through this, the Asian guidelines, they have given the 5 degrees centigrade. It means if you have withdraw the samples of any stages or any test station, you have to store on 5 degrees centigrade. So the basic is that if you are withdrawing the samples until the testing completion, if we are not storing in the control condition, so we will not find out the actual cause, or we will not find out the actual results of the stability study. So that's why the guidance document is provided that you have to store the stability sample at the lower temperature, so degradation cannot happen at this temperature. So the next question is the timeline for investigation of the chamber failure. So the practical approach is, I have seen so many companies that they are just manipulating the data if there are failure in the stability chambers. So guidelines also, ICH Q1AR2 and TRS 1010 also given the requirements of the failure during the stability study. So guidelines documents which I mentioned, they have defined that if the failure, the stability failure is more than 24 hours, then you have to investigate it, and the protocol should define the strategy to be followed during the during this failure. And actually, you have to follow what type of approaches you have to follow in this failure. So the next significant criteria. There are several guidelines which about the detailed elaboration of the requirement of significant failure and what is significant. If the product consists over more guidelines, what is the significant criteria in case of assay? Because if we are adding the overages in the formulation or in the product, we cannot apply the 5% criteria in this case, because we are adding the overages in the formulation on the basis of the stability study, or we are including the overages to compensate the stability loss. Sample. So the question in mind, what should be the time? At that time we have to complete all the testing of withdrawal samples. So the guidelines or ASEAN guidelines given the 4 weeks time. So they have defined that you have to complete all the testing, including if you are microbiological testing in the product, sterility testing. You have to complete all the testing within 4 weeks of the sample withdrawal date. So as an industrial practices, we are following that 1 month time is a sufficient time, or it's a time to in which we have to complete all the testing during this period. So our next question is, what should be the action plan if sample fails in isolated conditions? It's a very interesting question. Actually, I have never seen that any person is failing the product in the ACC. Even I have seen so many products. Even the API vendor is saying that our product is stable on 30 degrees centigrade. But there are several companies, they are claiming that their product is passing in 40 degrees centigrade for 6 months. It's not possible for all the products. So there are several guidelines. They have given the approaches. If the sample is failing in the isolated condition, then you have to test the intermediate condition sample till 6 months or 12 months. So if the sample is failing in ACC condition, then you have to test your sample, the intermediate sample, that same interval till the 6 month or the yearly basis. So now, what should be the storage condition on a label? So you can also see that there are several companies, they are not claiming the storage condition on the label. So it is my humble request, or is it the guidance requirement, that you have to mention the specific storage condition on the label of the product. So it means if you are performing the stability study in 25 degrees centigrade, then you have to mention the product should not be stored beyond the 25 degrees centigrade, or actual stability study. So if you are performing 30 degrees, then you have to mention should not stored more than 30 degrees. So the next question is, what should be the frequency of sterility and microbiological testing? So as per the guidelines, the WHO TRS 1010, it states that sterility should be performed initially, or microbiological test should be performed initially and end of the shelf life of the product. So our next question is, how many batches to be charged as an ongoing stability study? So guidance requirement is we have to charge one batch of each stand, each packaging, each sizes in a year as an ongoing stability study. And about the test frequency of stability, ongoing stability, there is no need to test the product till expiry plus 1 year. You have to perform only till the shelf life, the proposed shelf life, or the claimed shelf life of the product. And you can test the samples on the frequency of 6 months or yearly basis. So there is no requirement, a guidance requirement. You have to perform 0, 3, 6, 9. So guidance given the guidelines, WHOTR has given that you have to perform 6 month or yearly testing station for this ongoing stability study. And then now our next question is, what should be the orientation of the containers during stability study? So the requirement is you have to cover the container closure, both the system, during the stability study, so that actual stability results can came out from the study. And what should be the strategy charging for sample with supposed to market in big containers? So this sentence talks about the prototype containers. If you are supplying the material like API, you are supplying the in big container 200 kg liters containers. So the requirement is that you have to perform the stability study in prototype container. Prototype container means the MOC will be same as like the bigger container, and the surface area or the space is open for this is, you can say, the air. should be the same as like the bigger container. So our next question is, expiry date should be mentioned on the label or not? So it is a guidance requirement. You have to mention the expiry date of the product for all the cases, and can be used and it's a very good interesting question. Can be used two vendors material in same batch subjective for stability. So if you are charging the stability sample with the two vendors manufacturer API, then you cannot find out if failures is occur and which what type of failure occur, and the failure you cannot identify which API is failing in the stability study. So it is a requirement. You have to perform the stability study vendor wise. You can take the different AR number of material during the this stability study. So should we study the near expiry material API batches? So it is requirement. You have to perform the stability study on the samples on the API which are just near to the expiry, so that you can find out the actual stability study requirement, because we are also using the API till the expiry of this product, at the last day of the expiry of the product. So then how many batches required for stability study? So guidance says about the primary batches should be charged three batches should be charged for stability study, and where possible batches should be manufactured in different batches of API. It's true. I have already discussed this. And stability study should be performed in each individual stand, dosage form, container type, and size of API unless bracketing and marketing is applied. True or false? It is required. Yes, it's a true statement. Stability study should be performed on each individual stand, dosage form, and container type, and size of the finished product unless bracketing approach or you can say the matrixing approach is applied. So our next question is, stability testing should be conducted on dosage form packed in primary container. So is primary container system proposed for marketing? Yes, we have to charge the stability study on the marketed pack. If you are charging a sample with the secondary or tertiary packaging material, or the stability is based on or in the secondary or tertiary, then you have to mention on the label that you have to store the sample along with the secondary or tertiary packaging material. It's the guidance requirement. So what are the parameters to be studied during a stability study? So I am just briefing about the requirement. Only the stability is indicating methods, or you can say the tests which required to assess the stability study should be studied during the stability study period. So our next presenter, Mr. Mridul and Hima Sharma, will also speak on this, the parameter required for the stability study. And our next question is, tests for pyrogen and bacterioendotoxin may be limited to the time of release. It's true. So the pyrogen test and bacterioendotoxin test, no need to perform during the stability study. You have to perform initially as a pyrogen and bacterioendotoxin test. So these are a few questions in the user's mind. What do you mean by T0? If T0 is 1 January 2020, then 1 month time point corresponding to either 1st February or 31st January 2020. It means you have to take the time of the sample withdrawal, not testing charge. Testing time. It means you have to take the time of the stability sample withdrawal, not testing completion time. And our question is, what type of container stability study should be performed? Primary test we have already discussed. You have to perform the stability study on marketed pack. If you are performing the stability study on secondary or tertiary, along with secondary or tertiary, then you have to mention in your product label that the storage condition or material should be stored along with secondary or tertiary packaging material. And then what type of study required for bulk container after opening? So it is a requirement of guidance requirement. If you are supplying the material in bulk container and you are dispensing the material at in a different time manner or defined period, then you have to perform the opening study of this container. You have to perform all the tests which required to claim as a finished product as a shelf life of this 1 month, or you have to find the timeline after opening of the containers. So the last question but not least, what are the requirements of stability study and what are the conditions in which stability study is required? So we have already covered the requirement of stability in our first webinar. This is process validation webinar. So I just brief about that we have to perform the stability study in case of new product introduction, whether product is taken at the site or transfers from the site, or all the process validation batches, the whole time study batches, and in case if the product changing, the formulation change, process change, the primary packaging material change, and the change in the process methods, the specification, you have to perform the stability study of the product. And there are several regulatory requirements in which you have to perform the stability study. So this is the requirement, and this is just brief about the key points. So now, thank you very much, and now hand over to